Got a small defender on him. Shovel pass Sanders. Rocket Sanders dances to the 5. And he punishes his way into the end zone. South Carolina back in front.
I'm a die. I want people to think that I'm this, I'm great. No, we're nothing. We're just dead. We're dust. We're absolutely nothing. Our legacy is nothing.
Gonna throw it. Slant. This bug's for you, Mizzou.
They are carving up this LSU defense.
You don't get no better than that, man.
Now Cook's going to throw the deep ball, and Burton's past the defense. Touchdown, Luther Burton. 47 yards.
Good place. Kick is up. It is. Yes. Oh, a walk-off winner from 61. Harrison Mevis.
This is the Mizzou-cast.
Howdy, Tiger fans. Welcome to the Mizzou-cast. I'm your host, Brendan Anthony. Joining me, as always, is my longtime brother, Colin Anthony.
What's up, dum-dums?
Well, we are coming to you Sunday night after Missouri's big game against the South Carolina Gamecocks, where Missouri ended up losing this one late, 34-30. I thought we had it in the bag, Colin.
Heck of a ball game, folks. Heck of a ball game.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I have mixed emotions about it. Obviously, it's very disappointing, but I went into this thing thinking, Colin, that we had zero shot at winning this game. Of course, I really didn't think Brady Cook would play. He ended up playing the entire game, and even though he's on one leg and one arm, he looked as good as he's looked all season, I guess.
Yeah, it makes me wonder. He seemed more spry when he came back in the game from Auburn from the hospital, and it made me feel like he'd been nursing an ankle all year, and he looked more spry after an ankle injury in that game because they shot him up for the horse tranquilizers. And I wondered if the same thing in this game, like he seemed to be more mobile than he was when he was conceivably healthy. He threw the ball as well as he has.
We finally saw the deep ball.
Yeah, he's supposedly hurt, so I don't know what to make of it. This game is, to me, is the tale of the defense. So,
not what I would have predicted we were going to be talking about.
And the defense didn't have a terrible game. They kept us in it, and I think South Carolina found out what I had kind of predicted. It's like, this is a pretty good defense. You know, you had mentioned that A&M was pretty good too. So they did against A&M like they did, but A&M I don't think from level to level has our defense. But as well as defense played at times, forcing turnovers, getting sacks, they just got caught with their pants down way too often. They didn't tackle well. They didn't wrap up at all. Like, I saw so many broken tackles because of guys just lowering their shoulder and trying to knock somebody off their feet rather than just wrapping up. I saw so much of that. And DeLuce Jr., which I think is a redshirt freshman. So, I mean, take it with a grain of salt, but that guy got beat like a drum the entire night. If you go back and watch the 13 or 15-minute supercut of the game on YouTube, just follow 24 around a little bit and see what he was getting up to. On that final drive when they needed to get a big first down, he wasn't within 6 feet of the receiver he was supposed to be covering. He got roasted all game. The first touchdown came on an all too familiar circumstance. Somebody got caught looking in the backfield, Brennan, and didn't do his fucking job and cover his assignment. Do you want to take a guess at who that person could be?
Well, I'm just going to take a stab at it here. Was it Burks by any chance?
Yeah, man, Burks Jr. Jesus Christ, how many times are we going to have to watch this happen? This guy, I mean, Bill Belichick said the greatest thing that's ever been said in football. And it's incredibly simple, and it's do your fucking job. Do your job. He left the fuck out. I bet he didn't always, but do your job. And Burks Jr. is the fucking prototypical reason why that saying exists. Because every time he's got his eyes in the backfield, not doing his job, we get burned. It happened a lot in this game. Burks Jr. was not the only one who got caught with this. That fucking little draw play where they threw that touchdown right over the top and everybody fucking bit. There was a guy assigned to number 6 who caught that ball. You know who wasn't doing their job? That guy. He did not do his job. Quarterback, not his assignment. Number 6 is his assignment. Didn't do his job. And it happened all over the field for this defense the other night. They played well at times. They're very athletic. They're not afraid to stick their nose in there and hit. But, man, they got caught so many times not doing their job, trying to do somebody else's job, and it just fucked them over and over again. And for Johnny Walker Jr. had a good game and is obviously a phenomenal football player. But what I'm going to remember about this game for Johnny Walker Jr. is the 2 plays he didn't make. when we needed a stop, he let a sack slip right through his fingers. And listen, that guy's an incredible athlete, but Johnny Walker Jr.'s got to make that play. You have to make that play. You make that play, this is a different football game. And then on the final touchdown run-in, Johnny Walker Jr. did not wrap up. I invite everyone to go watch the highlight. He lowers the shoulder and tries to blow him up and knock him off his feet, and Sanders just ran right through it into the end zone. And it's like, you wrap up there, they're on the goal line, but you're still in this ball game.
We play OT, but we don't walk away.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, this defense kept them in the game, but also was the reason the game was close. Because honestly, as well as the offense was playing, if the defense had done their job, this wouldn't have been a game. I think you saw what this game could have been basically in that third quarter when Mizzou started like scoring points and all of a sudden comes back from this huge deficit. Defense is getting stopped. Offense is moving. And you see when all the cylinders are hitting what this team is. And what this team is when all the cylinders are hitting is better than South Carolina. But we had just did not put it together. We got caught out of position too often. And
we were a minute and 15 seconds away from being better than South Carolina.
The travesty is the Burden play, one-handed catch for the touchdown. I mean, like, that is etched in the memories on the fucking stone wall of Mizzou football history if the defense holds up. Because
it would have been a legacy catch for Burden, and frankly, it might have been a legacy catch for Brady Cook, coming back from 2 different injuries and taking heat and criticism about the long ball all year long, and connects to a star receiver to win the game and come back on the road against a ranked opponent. It was a storybook ending that was ruined by bad defense and bad tackling. And
there was some bad luck, too, because we had a backup center and it showed. You mentioned that he killed one drive all by himself.
Yeah, with a couple false starts. Yeah, and the thing about the defense, Colin, I think that was most frustrating to me, as you mentioned, we have the talent. It wasn't that the defensive scheme was poor. It was just execution, the kind of thing that has been bothering us the whole season. Burks Jr., for instance, like, you make the same mistake every week. This is not something that you're not talented enough to correct, or this isn't something that we don't have enough strategy to correct. This is just something you got to practice and work on, and you haven't done it.
Yeah,
and that's really frustrating. That these glaring
Flag Jr. had one of these plays, and I was just
trying to stick him in the shoulder.
Dependable football players who just got a little sloppy. I don't want to wrap this guy up. I want to blow him up. You know, and it's like, listen, fundamental football isn't always highlight reel. I know you'd like it to be, but sometimes you just wrap a guy up and you drag him to the ground, and nobody's helmet comes flying off. You know,
and the clock keeps ticking.
And you just play football, and man, and the offense at times he sputtered, but really played a pretty consistent ball game.
The frustrating thing about the offense, particularly in the first half, was how we let drives die.
Yeah, but Luis and Burden both very active.
Oh God. Yes, I mean,
Norfleet.
I texted you early on in the game, and I said, I'm very surprised how well we're moving the ball. I believed the hype about South Carolina's defensive line, and we had our backup center in, and I thought, well, it's a bad recipe, right? Mm-hmm. For an offense that isn't running real well anyway, to have guys down our throats, and then the guy in the middle of the action is untested. Well, we played pretty damn good offense, and not the least of which was Nate Noel, who had a fantastic game, Colin. I mean, a fantastic game. I felt like every time you gave him the ball, he was good for 6 to 20 yards. You know what I mean? And that's why I was infuriated at times with the offensive play calling. I thought it was conservative. I thought there was like a 3rd and 2 situation, and Nate Noel got 2 yards plus every single time you gave him the fucking ball, and we decided to do a dinky-dunky pass play that didn't work.
Or when they tried to quarterback sneak behind a fucking backup center. I'm like, you got a backup center, and that you take that page in your playbook and you tear it out and you throw it in the fucking trash can because you got a backup center. Yeah, I don't want to get too. I didn't have a ton of problem with the play calling. But there are a couple, obviously, instances. But I think if you ultimately win this game, those things don't bother you at all. Nobody's going to bat 1,000 from a play calling standpoint. I really didn't have a ton of issue with the offense.
Well, I think Mizzou fans are going to beat us up if we don't mention some of the horrible officiating that was happening too, and how.
Yeah, and you know we hate to do that because we've said it before. It's the mating song of the fucking loser.
And it is not the reason we lost this game. Our defense is the reason we lost this game. But there was a play where they didn't have the fucking clock reset, and we were going to score. They took points off of the board for us. They were inconsistent with their replays. They were just basic SEC terrible officiating, and that was a factor in this game as well.
And I've said this. I'm old enough to have watched Mizzou during the Big 12 years, before the SEC years. And I thought Big 12 officiating was pretty bad. But since we have been in this league, it has been made clear to me time and time again that SEC officiating is even worse. And that's part of the reason I don't think you can really get too whiny about it, because they are consistently bad for everybody, every week, for both sides of the ball. Every week somebody's getting fucked hard by SEC officiating. And replay doesn't help a great deal.
No.
And so I just feel like you got to almost bake that into the cake. Listen, they're going to break one off in you here and there. So you better win this game. You're going to have to do it yourself, because the officials are going to take some points off the board. They're going to affect what you're doing, and you got to build that into that recipe, because it's going to happen.
The thing that gets me about replay is I remember when replay sort of came on the scene, and it was going to fix all the problems.
Sure.
Hey, we have the video evidence. Why don't we just run it?
My wife said that fourth baby was going to do for our marriage. It's going to fix everything.
Yeah. Your wife's got a lot of things to say about you. She says your penis is not quite 12 inches, but it smells like a foot.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That sounds like her.
Yeah, that's what she told me. Anyway, the replay thing is they'll talk to they always have like a replay expert on, it's like, let's turn it over to a replay expert, see what he thinks about this totally obvious play that everybody at home knows what's going on. And then they'll say something.
Little head catcher, Dan.
Yeah, I don't know which way they could call it one way, but they could call it the other.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that's great analysis, and thank you for giving us that insight. And then whatever the guy said, the referees get off their fucking headset, and they get away from their TV, and then they get on their mic, and they said the exact opposite thing of the guy in the booth. And so it's like, nobody knows anything. It's all a crapshoot. Replay's worthless. You guys are worthless. The whole SEC officiating crew is worthless.
Yeah, but they may end up being douches of the week.
Maybe. Well, I will say this too, Colin. Obviously, it was Veterans Day weekend, and Drinkwitz wore his camouflage hoodie. And I was watching that on the sidelines. And I was just thinking to myself, like, God, there's no less intimidating soldier than Eli Drinkwitz in this camo. I mean, if you're on the front lines in Ukraine and you're looking across at who you got to fight, and it's Eli Drinkwitz in a fucking camo hoodie.
Yeah,
and they're like, we're gonna win this war. But not an intimidating.
He's going to be in the rear with the gear. Let's be honest, Brennan.
He's doing the accounting for the Army. Make sure you got enough vittles. You know,
hey, somebody's got to count the bullets. You know what I mean?
Just something about Eli Drinkwitz in camo, and it's just like, I don't know what this is. I mean, I understand it's Veterans Day weekend. Salute the troops, great, but it's just like, I don't know. The least intimidating human being on the earth as a soldier.
Well, going back to the game.
No.
Shane Beamer also tried to help us here, and I saw some asshat on Twitter being like, it's time we start talking about Shane Beamer for Coach of the Year. And I was just like, what? I was like, they have to win half the time in spite of this moron. He tried fourth and goal was on the 35-yard line, the Tigers' 35-yard line. I'm like, if they lost that game, you don't think that would get brought up on podcasts and radio shows in South Carolina right now? Like, what the fuck is this moron doing? Like, obviously, he's not completely worthless. The team's playing well, but it's truly at times they're having to win in spite of him.
The fourth down calls he made, they got fourth down. They converted on fourth down the first couple times they tried. And then the third time they did it, we stopped them. And I can't remember if we stopped them 2 or 3 times on fourth down, but like enough times where it's like, this isn't a guarantee. Like maybe, punting exists. Punting's real. Field goals
that's a thing you can do.
Field goals are options.
That's things you can do.
Nothing about South Carolina's short down distance offense made me feel like they should go for it every time like they did, unless something I don't know about their kicking.
And I'm going to say this. Next year, I don't think we need to have Craig as a kicker.
No.
He's not it. You know what I mean? Like, and I know maybe it's recency bias or whatever, but like, because Harrison Mevis was fucking pretty damn good. And even at times we were upset with him. Like, every kicker is going to go through those periods where people are down on them, but this guy has been inconsistent at best. And I know he's young, and maybe he'll get better. Maybe he's got a ton of talent. I don't know enough about kickers or kicking to feel like I have any way to know. But what I do know is what goes through the uprights and doesn't. I mean, that kick he missed where it was just short, like it was just a fucking lollipop dead duck. I'm like,
and it was a long attempt in the first place, but it had no chance.
No, yeah, I mean, like this. Ugh. Is he doing this in practice? Is that why you run him out there? Because I was like, this is.
It's tough. I mean,
Craig
college kickers.
Maybe next year he'll get better, but Craig is not good enough right now. No. Not good enough. Not if you want to compete for a playoff spot.
No, I long for a doughy Jello boy who gets the meat sweats before each game. I got used to that. It's a shame.
Yeah, I want a guy who's eating cake frosting on the sidelines until they call his number.
That's right. He's gonna wipe the goo off of his pant legs before he goes out. He doesn't really have to even do that because you don't really use your hands that much as a kicker. I have no idea. I'm completely naive to this, and I'm happy to admit it. But like when you are a kicker, a place kicker, and the NFL comes calling, and obviously they bring in new kickers all the time. Old kickers retire. But like Mevis seems as good as anybody to me. Like what is it that Mevis doesn't have that he can't get a spot on a roster?
32 guys that get that job, and I've seen it time and time again where they bring some fucking kicker out of retirement over giving some guy with a big leg out of college a shot because they're just like, it's a reliability thing. And like, hey, this old kicker who can't hit, Mevis can hit a 10-yard deeper field goal. They're like, but we got this guy who scored 18,000 points in the NFL, and he's done it his entire life, and I bet he can still hit a 45-yarder like he's in his sleep, and I get that. I think that's why. I mean, you really have to. I mean, you have to ball out in college to really be like, okay, we got to give this kid a shot, Yeah,
it's not like they're getting hurt a lot either, and you're going to get your shot at the backup role. So anyway, ultimately, Colin, we complete the comeback. We basically go back. We were down 21-6 early, and we come back and we're winning. We scored 30 points. We're 30-27, and it comes down to if we can make a defensive stop, we win. If we bend but don't break, they kick a field goal and we go into overtime, and it's a brand new game. The third option happens, which is the defense completely folds, and on a shitty shovel pass, everybody bites, nobody tackles, everybody tries to stick, and they waltz into the end zone. We lose 34-30. South Carolina's season is revived. Mizzou. Here's the thing about this game, as depressing as it is, and we've done a lot of complaining, I feel like people who watch this game probably respect Missouri more in this loss than any of our wins.
Because people are starting to get hot on South Carolina. Like, hey, this is a pretty good football team.
Well, and South Carolina's got a pretty impressive resume. And since we went fucking toe-to-toe with them.
And since Mizzou got beat like a drum in those games against A&M and Alabama, they really haven't played anybody either. So this is the first really what I think most people consider a good football team that Mizzou's seen in a while. And Mizzou gave them all they wanted and truthfully should have won this game.
On the road.
Imagine if our kicker hits a kick, for instance, or, we tackle, or Johnny Walker Jr. gets that sack, or, there's a number. The
officials don't let the play stop and we go in the end zone. Yeah, there's
ifs and buts, candy and nuts.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter at the end of the day, but yeah, I completely agree. Mizzou's going to get more cred for giving South Carolina all they want than they're going to get for beating Oklahoma.
Yeah. Yeah. But
they probably should, honestly.
But it does in the fever dream we all had about the playoffs. It's over.
It's over.
And so now it's looking forward to like what's left, what is. And we've got Mississippi State and we've got Arkansas left. And two things to me. We got to be on the road at Mississippi State, and if we continue any momentum, I don't know, it could.
If we play 75% of what we did last night, Mississippi State, should win that game handily.
My only concern is there's a letdown. I don't feel like there's going to be. I feel like people are upset, like they feel like they should have won. They're out for blood. I mean, people react to heartbreaking losses in different ways, but I feel like
I don't feel that way though.
I think they're going to come out and give Mississippi State what they want. And if Brady Cook is able to give what he gave against South Carolina, watch out, Mississippi State, because we're a better team. We're a more talented team. We should win that game. I think early odds were like we're an 8-point favorite on the road.
Yeah, this does not strike me as a team who's giving up. I feel like they're going to be coming out of this game sort of angry, not deflated. Because they shouldn't, because they be deflated. I mean, they played a really great game, and there are things that they're going to be able to watch and film on this game, especially on the defensive side, and go, dude, if we just do our job and we wrap up on our tackling instead of trying to fucking hit stick people, we're going to win next week at Mississippi State. Like, there are easy things to see and clean up.
Well, if this style of play continues against Mississippi State, as it did against South Carolina, I'm a lot less worried about the Arkansas game suddenly.
Yeah.
Because what I'd been seeing up to this point was that Arkansas looked like a better team than us.
Our defense is too legit for us really to be.
Well, and Arkansas isn't looking great right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, if we can take care of business in the final 2 games, we end up 9-3. Not where we wanted to be.
Yeah.
Not a playoff contender, but a very realistic outcome if you're sitting at the outset of the season. I mean, all of us, I think deep down, we're looking at the schedule and we're like, yeah, we have a good shot at winning the playoffs, but any one of these games could trip us up.
Yeah.
There's a number of these games that could trip us up. 9-3 was always a very realistic option. It's not one that I think we should be ashamed of. Now, I'm looking past 2 games to even say this, but like, we still have something to play for. Like, this team is not dead in the water. Yeah. It's not going to be the ultimate of what they wanted it to be, but there's no reason to pack it in.
For as aggravated as I was with the defense early, and part of my aggravation was like, I don't like what they're doing, but they're doing, they're winning these games, and so everybody's like, hey, the defense, you got to get off the defense's back. I still agree that I don't like what they're doing early, but there's no doubt in my mind this is a very good defense, and it's why I knew South Carolina was going to be a game, and it's why I mean, you think about the A&M game and Alabama game. The offense let the defense down in those games. I mean, Alabama was getting all they wanted from our defense, and then Pine throws 3 fucking interceptions, and what are you going to do as a defense at that point? And eventually it becomes like a really ugly football game. Kind of the same with A&M. We just kind of constantly put them behind the 8 ball. But if our offense doesn't put our defense in a position where they're just constantly running out there and just getting wore out, we're going to be hell on wheels for anybody to play. And so when I look at a team like Mississippi State, I think, man, you guys are in for it because Mizzou's going to be a better defense than you have most of the defenses you've run into. And I don't know if everybody knows that. You know what I mean? I think that's to the advantage of Missouri. Is like, I don't know you guys are getting all the credit you deserve because despite your record and the fact that the playoffs are out of the picture, your defense is borderline one of the best in the SEC. Then you go to Arkansas. I just think all these teams are going to be a little bit surprised. I think Alabama was surprised. I think South Carolina was surprised. I definitely know Oklahoma was surprised. It's like, this is not very easy. These guys are fucking good. This is not very easy. These people are sacking us. They got cornerbacks in people's back pockets. They are playing football on defense, and it's. I want to acknowledge that because I was, critical of them early on.
Well, on top of the defense, Colin, the last 2 weeks, Oklahoma, we scored 20 points in the fourth quarter. South Carolina, we scored 18 points in the fourth quarter. The offense is coming along.
One of those touchdowns was defense, but yeah.
Still, this team is turning it on late in games when you need them to turn it on. I just think 9-3, it was always an outcome that I'd walk away from and say, hey, things are still on the tracks. And that's what I really want is for things to stay on the tracks because Drinkwitz, we know what kind of recruiter Drinkwitz is. We know that we're going to close in the stadium and there's something to me, I don't know, it's not tangible, but when we keep building up the facilities around this team, it adds an air of legitimacy when we bring recruits in. Look, South Carolina, there were a few people that tried to storm the field after this win. It was a big win. You know what I mean? They shouldn't have tried to storm the field against a team that they were favored to win.
Sure.
But beating this Missouri team was a big win for South Carolina, too.
When's the last time they'd been able to do it?
Well, yeah, this is one thing I learned about this game. I learned that the Mayor's Cup is actually a traveling trophy. I thought it just lived in Columbia, Missouri. I didn't realize that the winner actually got to take it home with them because it's been so long.
Never seen it done.
Yeah, it's been ages since it has not been in our town. Anyway.
Carolina Jackpot is currently drinking ayahuasca out of the Mayor's Cup as we speak.
Yeah.
The last thing I'll say about this game is I hope that Deloche Jr. becomes a fucking all SEC cornerback because he is a redshirt freshman. He had a terrible fucking game. And the only way I'm not going to be mad about his performance is if it's like, hey, this guy's a little green behind the ears and yeah, we gave him an opportunity and yeah, he shat the bed. But he needs to if he becomes something down the road, it's like, okay, I get what they were trying to do. This is a young guy. They're seasoning him. He's the next heir apparent and he's very talented and he's just not there yet. That's what I need to be the case because if not, he just fucked us. And if he's a name that disappears from this roster for the next 3 years because he just gets replaced by some other guy, it's like, oh man, what? We had nobody else that could cover. Nobody. But I want him to be good. He got on my radar last night, and now I need him to be good.
Yeah. Well, before we wrap this up, I want to say Theo Weiss and Luther Burden, again,
God bless them,
looked great and are super fun to watch, and it was amazing to see Brady Cook get the ball to them.
I want to see him do like when they always do their little celebrations after touchdowns. I want to see Luther Burden and Theo Weiss touch tips. I think that would be an awesome, cool celebration.
I get a feeling they wouldn't be standing all that close to each other to do it.
You may be right.
All right, on that note, this is the Mizzou-cast.
The holiday season is upon us, and if you're searching for the perfect gift for the Mizzou fan in your life, look no further than the best-selling book, Respectable Roughnecks, by Brendan Steenbergen. This true story about the original True Sons, Respectable Roughnecks, takes you on a journey with the 1960 Missouri Tigers as they slugged their way through a brutal Big 8 schedule to become conference champions, Orange Bowl champions, and eventually national champions. Respectable Roughnecks brings the amazing stories of men like Dan Devine, Danny LaRose, and Norris Stevenson to life as they led one of the greatest Tiger teams to ever take the field. Available in hardcover, paperback, ebook, and audiobook on Amazon.com. Respectable Roughnecks is the perfect addition to any collection of Mizzou memorabilia. Order now, and you'll have it in time to give the Mizzou fan in your life the best gift they'll receive all year.
And we are back. Colin, it is time for the Mizzou-cast mailbag. We've mentioned Carolina Jackpot. Obviously, he's got a little room to crow here. I'm curious to hear what he has to say. I reached out to him. I was like, hey, Jackpot, we record Sunday night. Hey, I'll give you 5 or 10 minutes if you just want to, toot your horn or whatever. Yeah. I didn't hear back from him, but I'm hoping he left a voicemail. It's probably closer than he expected based on how South Carolina had been playing versus how Missouri was playing. But anyway, I want to hear what all of y'all have to say because it was quite a game. It's been an interesting 2 weeks in Mizzou football.
And really, more than that with the Auburn game. It's been a fun little part of the season.
Yeah.
Despite the loss.
Let's find out how Mizzou fans are taking it. Let's open up the Mizzou-cast mailbag.
Here's the mail, it never fails. It makes me want to wag my tail. When it comes, I want to wail.
This first one comes Wednesday before the game, early on.
Yeah, I just want to say fuck that guy that said fuck Jamerson from Branson. Jamerson from Branson is our fucking king. Again, fuck that guy. Eat shit and go fuck yourself.
Obviously a guy who had just listened to the new episode and wanted to get on Wednesday and was like, hey, I got a message for Jamerson from Branson.
Yeah, Jamerson, he took some strays unnecessarily last week, but that's fine. He's got a defender here tonight.
Sure.
So, yeah.
I just think it's fantastic that he's reached such a huge level of fame that he's regularly mentioned on a Mizzou
polarizing character.
Yeah, exactly. Like you.
Yeah, I do hope he didn't drop the toaster in the bathtub.
You're like the third host at this point. You and Fart Guy.
So Brady Cook is starting. Same playbook from Bama. Nobody knew he was going to start, but everyone knew he was going to start.
I didn't.
Me either.
He's going to have his best game of all time today.
He had a pretty good game.
And listen, the deal is Mississippi State's a fucking joke. Arkansas is a fucking joke. Those are cupcakes.
Dismissive.
Those are cupcakes.
Dismissive.
If we win today,
we didn't.
We clinch the playoffs.
No.
Today, this is the biggest game Mizzou football has played. Mizzou athletics has played, and we didn't have a bigger game like this. We didn't have a bigger game last year.
Get it out.
Maybe Tennessee.
Land the plane, buddy.
I guess Florida, but those teams weren't as good as South Carolina is allegedly, and we really didn't have any chance at the playoffs after we lost 2 games earlier that year. The season is on schedule. We are still on script. Okay. We control our own destiny. Playoffs!
Yeah, you know what? And other than that last drive where we gave up that final touchdown, it's true. It's true. We were on schedule.
Yeah,
but
kind of. I don't know. I don't honestly. If we had won out, I'm still not sure if we would have got top 12.
Oh no! I thought I saw we were like 5% chance of making the playoffs if things went. If
well,
like
and
we won
it's
out.
not just the Mizzou situation that makes me realize that. It's like I'm watching teams that have got bad resumes, like lose games. Like the top 12 is kind of a fucking like mess. Like it doesn't make any sense. They are certainly not following any sort of like script for like these are the criteria you must meet to be ranked at this to get into the playoffs. It's just like, hey, I know who Penn State is.
Yeah.
So let's make sure Penn State's there.
Let's keep BYU there until they lose, which they will, and which they do.
Well, yeah.
No, it's true. But I think what made Missouri's chances low was not that we had two losses to good teams.
We went to Paddle Fest.
We got paddled.
Two of the good teams we played this season bought us 2 tickets, front row, for Paddle Fest.
Paddle Fest.
Oh.
Looks like Brady Cook might be playing today, which means we have a better shot at having a competent passing game. No guarantee either way, for sure, but if we can get some of the passing game going, if Noel is playing, I'm not sure if he is or not, we have a shot. And if we have a shot in this game, then we still got a shot at the playoffs. So
yeah,
let's see what we can do. I've got my drink, got my smoke, need some chicken. Let's hope we win this thing. MIZ.
I like that. Yeah, everybody felt that way, optimistic early, and gosh, just didn't work out for us. Golly gosh.
Oh, now they want to call PI. Now they want to call PI on that play, not on a critical play in the end zone where it was obvious that he was holding on to him before the ball fucking got there. And not even to mention the other play where they ruled it down. That was, I mean, like, this is fucking ridiculous. Fucking zebras.
Yeah, it was bad. It was not great. Not great.
Guys better be glad that we're playing soft and knit as fuck right now. Down by a lot more than you are.
I don't know. We weren't doing everything either.
Happy with our play so far. South Carolina's playing like a bag full of goddamn wet clothes. And we're going to come back here in a little bit and lay the fucking hammer on you. May the best team win. M-I-Z-Z-O, me and you, by the way. Tell Bob Stoops he don't kick Missouri's ass no more.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Mizzou's been piss poor in the red zone on offense all fucking season. In the first quarter, we drive down the field both times. We're held to 6 points, 2 field goals.
That hurts.
South Carolina's up 1 point. I understand they're going for it on 4th and short all drive, but they finally get in the red zone, and when they're up a point, they refuse to kick a field goal. When all Mizzou can do is kick field goals, and they're already up 1. Shane Beamer, hot garbage coaching. Hot garbage.
Hot garbage. Yeah, that's kind of the point we made. Like, this guy does not be mentioned as coach of the year. He needs to be mentioned as, like, liability of the year. Like, that's a really good football team dragging around a fucking asshole who's trying to make them lose.
Shane Beamer has assembled a good football team, and he's a shitty coach. It was stupid decisions. It really did help us out a lot.
And, the caller before mentioned Brady Cook and gave us an opportunity. Like, for as well as Pine played, I didn't hear anything about somebody being like, is this the right decision? Should Pine be actually like, I was like, nope, we're good with Brady. I mean, Pine, good job. You did exactly what you needed backup to do. You won us a football game. The guy who actually needs to be playing football is now playing football again. So, take a seat. I didn't hear any Pine apologists being like, hey, he should be, after he earned that start after that. Nobody was saying that.
Well, I mean, Cook came in and played better than he has most of the year.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
he shut down any possible talk.
Blake Craig, you are fucking dog shit. Dog shit. Please bring fucking Andrew Baggett out of retirement for all I care, dude. This motherfucker, Blake Craig, is the size of a 5-year-old and has the leg of a fucking 90-year-old. This motherfucker can't hit shit. Dog, water, hot fucking fuck.
Kind of butchered that at the end.
Well, he's hot. He's hot. He's coming in hot, Brennan.
He is coming in hot. Yeah, I don't know if Andrew Baggett's exactly who you want against South Carolina.
I'm not sure he's got any eligibility left. I'm just going to say that.
I still have flashbacks of South Carolina.
But certainly I understand this sentiment. We brought it up earlier. He's not been good enough.
You know what? Fuck Carolina Jackpot. Fuck him. We all love him, blah, blah, blah. Fuck him. He's that freaking uncle that's at Thanksgiving talking about politics in college football and giving all the beer to the high schoolers. Fuck him.
Sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
Fuck him today. Just fuck him. After today, we can talk.
Man, I feel like the last couple of weeks, the fan base just coming at each other. The callers have all sort of like.
Well, it was a heavy election season. I think people's dander is up. Yeah, people's dander is up. Yes. People's dander's up. So let the election shit settle down a little bit.
When you say the word dander?
Yeah.
I don't think we can use the Saved by the Bell drop because it's not strictly a 90s reference, but I do, if you can play like a 1930s, like some sort of equivalent to that drop, to reference the word getting their dander up.
Colin, I think people say that all the time.
Yeah. You know where I hear it most is at my kids' high school.
Is that right?
The kids say it.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah. The 14-year-olds are always talking about their dander getting up.
Get Brady Cook off of the field. I want Drew Pine.
There we go.
Brady, why are we throwing a 2-yard drag route that's double covered on 4th and 5?
Yeah.
Brennan, why? Please give me Drew Pine. At least we'll have a quarterback that can throw a goddamn deep ball. Brady Cook, get the fuck out and go sell insurance in fucking St. Louis, you fucking bum.
No.
A lot of heat for Brady.
No.
Man, this guy underestimated how tough his heart was.
Yeah.
He kept balling out in this game.
I don't blame Brady Cook for that 4th down play. I blame our offensive coaching staff for that. Yeah. I mean, in a game where Nate Noel, like I said, could get 6 yards on every single carry, what are we doing there? Yeah. But I think Brady Cook showed you that he was the guy we needed in there as the game went on.
What's up, fellas? First-time caller coming out of New York.
Love it.
I don't know if it's just me.
It's not.
I feel like every time I watch these games, it's just fucking Mizzou against the world. I'm not saying it would have changed anything. This unnecessary roughness call right before halftime, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
That shit is so fucking soft. I literally don't know what it is. I just feel like it's always Mizzou against the world. Too good for the Big 12. Maybe good enough for the SEC. I don't fucking know. I'm so frustrated. Same kind of bullshit we deal with the rest against Kentucky. Doesn't even have that much impact on the game. Brady Cook fucking fumbles over himself at halftime on the last play. Whatever. Who knows if we win? I fucking can't with this shit. I don't know anymore.
This is, again...
fucking MID.
I appreciate the frustration with the officiating. And I'd agree with you, except they're terrible for everybody. Everybody. It's not like the world's against Mizzou. It's like some teams got to lose. And inevitably, if they played an SEC football game with SEC officials, whoever lost definitely had a bad call against them. But you know what? Whoever won did too. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, whoever loses always feels like the refs fuck them because the refs are constantly making bad calls in these games. And somebody wins and somebody loses. But it's almost... like it's 6 one way, half a dozen the other, because whoever lost is going to claim the refs were bad because they were bad all over the place all the time.
It's just a shame how much they're a factor in the game, every game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Offensive linemen and officials should be forgotten soldiers in a football game. If you don't remember an offensive lineman's name, that's a good day for your offensive line. Because the only time their fucking names get called is when they throw a snap over a quarterback's head or get beat around the corner for a giant sack. But if you don't hear their names, that's great. And it's the same with officiating. If you don't know the official's name or what his voice sounds like, like you had a pretty good night.
Yeah.
Fuck the ref, fuck Shane Beamer, and fuck Carolina Jackpot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're going to have some of that when you're a Carolina fan who calls the show so consistently.
Yeah. I mean, it's sort of your punishment for being good to us on the show.
For
being, 1 week a year, you're going to take a fucking
You're
beating.
going to be the enemy. You're not going to be and you know what? Carolina Jackpot, you're a bit of a celebrity on this show. You are loved.
Yeah.
And so if for that love, the price is once a year, everybody takes a hot, steamy loaf around your forehead, then that's the price you just have to pay.
And only really if South Carolina wins this game. I mean, if that fucking Luther Burden touchdown holds up and we win that game, people are like, hey, sorry, Jackpot. I know you had a lot riding on this one. Yeah.
I don't know. I bet our fan base was, but there have been a lot like, fuck Carolina Jackpot.
Yeah, you talked a lot of shit before the game. Where are you now? Where are you now? Yeah. All that would have happened.
What's up, you fucking I'm from Branson, having a bad fucking time. Always having a bad fucking time watching this goddamn team. Our kicker can't make a kick from fucking 37 yards out. Fucking Brady's hurt. The kid is always fucking hurt. He's always fucking hurt, but does Drake take him out? No! Because he's fucking pretty tough heart. The kind of kid you want your daughter to fuck. This shit is bullshit, Drake. This is on
moron. Get it together.
Yeah, calling from the methadone clinic.
Mm-hmm. But, Brady played a good game.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily understand that sentiment at this point.
I mean, at this point, I'm not upset. You all said something on the podcast after the Alabama game. Being a Mizzou fan is hard. It's not like being an Alabama fan or Ohio State fan or a Georgia fan. That's easy to be a fan of those programs, but we real fans. So at this point, I can't be Oliver Sadwell no more. I can't have Mizzou Blues because it is what it is, I still think, and this is the thing, I still think we can win this. I think we can win this. But maybe that's because I'm just nutty, but it's all good. We coming. We coming. It's on after the half. I'm telling you, after this half time, it's on. We coming. We hobo coming. MIV.
Hobo come.
In the words of the great Jimmy Dugan,
yeah,
the heart is what makes it great. And that's what Mizzou fans are dealing with. Like, the heart is what makes it great.
He also said, avoid the clap.
Avoid the clap, Jimmy Dugan.
It's good advice. Keith Sweat bringing it. And you know what? He was a little bit Nostradamus. We did bring it after the half. We were coming. Just wasn't quite enough.
Hey, guys. It's a pimp named Truman here. I just took a steaming shit, and I think it was still more admirable than what I've seen on the field today.
Jeez.
I just want to say a microcosm of my feelings of Brady Cook can be summed up in the final play of the first half, where he bobbles it, fumbles it, picks it up, falls on it, and trips again. I hate that ginger from Chaminade with a fade.
Man.
I can't do this anymore. If Zollers does not save this program, we're looking at a college football winter. Another decade of pain and suffering.
Britton.
I hate Shane Beamer.
One of the worst cases
I want to die
of Mizzou Blues.
And that is all
I have ever heard.
Yeah, we're going to need some methadone on this Mizzou Blues case here because he's got it bad.
Yeah,
he's in deep.
Yeah.
I hope the second half sort of helped a little bit, but golly gosh, you've got yourself, pal, a severe case of the Mizzou Blues.
Hey, it's Big Mo GMVA. We're currently losing in the third quarter. I'm not feeling too good about this, but I got to tell you, if South Carolina wins, the only reason they won is because Mizzou is having a down year, and this is our worst year ever.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Don't be happy about this win, South Carolina. You're playing the worst Mizzou team in a decade.
Congratulations on nothing.
Yeah.
Why did Brady's tough heart whine to the referees there that he should have gotten in the end zone when clearly we fucking guzzled him? Playing like shit. Playing like hot garbage.
Hot garbage.
I mean, come on, guys. Goddamn. Quit delaying the inevitable. He might as well throw his hands up and say, fuck it, guys. I'm going to go sit on the back of the end zone, eat a damn bag of fucking uts. Go Gamecocks. Fourth quarter's coming. Ha, 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 ha. Oh, Lord, I hope I ain't speaking too soon.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jackpot, you are slurring your words a bit, I think, and you had been enjoying some adult beverages throughout this game based on what I'm hearing in this call. There was a lot of football left to play by the fourth quarter.
I can't believe it. They're trying their hardest to screw us over, and they still couldn't do it. We still stopped them. Had to do it twice. I don't know what it is with this game. And then Beamer's ass is here bitching on the screen right now as if somehow they got screwed. What is going on here? They're trying to give them the game. All I want to know is, can we get someone to ask Sankey, why they are trying to give it to South Carolina? I mean, why are they trying to give it to the three-loss team? Come on.
Because there's no agenda. There's no agenda. The refs don't give a flying fuck.
Man, oh man, despite everything that's happened, we're up in the fourth quarter. Up in the fourth quarter. I don't know what to say. I don't know what will happen, but this team is resilient.
They were resilient. They just had a letdown. And honestly, I really didn't expect a letdown, Colin. Even in that last drive, I thought we're going to intercept it here. We're going to get a big sack. We almost did. we're going to win this game, and it just didn't work out.
Yeah,
that way
despite the outcome, and our South Carolina fans would probably balk at this, but I'm like, Mizzou was the better team. I'm like, Mizzou. Every time South Carolina scored, you can circle something on the field that Mizzou did wrong. That if they had just done, they're
just done basic execution.
Yeah, just basic execution. This was not a team that could overpower Mizzou if Mizzou plays their A game. Like I said, there was a stretch in this game where it was 21-6, and Mizzou comes out and just starts reeling off points and just obviously the better team.
Well,
obviously,
I'll tell you
that's
this.
not to say South Carolina's a bad team, but it's like Mizzou's A game and South Carolina's A game are not the same game, in my opinion. And so Jackpot would probably disagree with that, but I'm like, when Mizzou is firing on the cylinders, and it's hard.
We haven't seen it much.
But when they are, it's like,
Well, I'll put it this way.
South Carolina can fuck their defensive line. They ain't got Johnny Walker Jr. and they ain't got McKellen.
South Carolina was at one point a 14-point favorite in this game,
Yeah.
and they shouldn't have been. That was not the team we saw go up
And I
against
would have bet
Missouri.
that. I should have bet that. I don't know that was the line, but I mean,
It dropped to 12.5 by game time, but still.
like I was just like, this was going to be a close game. Again, you can count on. I think you can count on Mizzou's defense. I think you can.
We couldn't tonight.
I mean, well, in general, you know what I mean? Like they played what has been a very good football team, and really, barring a
Took 'em
handful of
through the
stupid
wire.
mistakes, had turnovers, had sacks, was really at times imposing their will in this game.
I think it's safe to say Batoon was a shitty hire. Let's fire him and find a new D coordinator next year.
See, I don't know.
Ridiculous.
Lord knows I had my issues early on, but boy, I don't think the way this defense is playing that Batoon's job is in any danger.
No,
I know what Batoon has learned is in this season will no more of that shit that from the beginning of the season. Like you've established who you are and what you do, and let's keep doing it from here forward.
And look, we knew going into the season that we lost a ton of talent on defense, and defense was going to be difficult for whoever. Look, Corey Batoon didn't recruit the guys he has on the field. Like, we've played pretty well this year with what was, without question, going to be less talent than we had last year. I'm not ready to go firing any coaches.
Yeah, if Chris Abrams' drain is playing where Deloche is, we probably won this game.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
right.
And that's the difference. That's the talent difference. That's the freshman to senior, whatever you want to call it. Like, those are those little intangible things that you don't really think about when you're watching these football games caught in the moment. But Abrams, Drain, Ennis Rakestraw, either one of them is still on this roster. That game probably looks a lot different, honestly, because, man, it's all about talent. And that's why for all of Drinkowitz's numerous peccadillos, the recruiting thing, if he continues to recruit, it's going to be hard to turn me against him, because I just know at the end of the day, it's about Jimmy's and Joe's.
What the fuck was that? Corey Batoon had the shittiest play calling I've ever seen in my fucking life, and it's unbelievable. Nicholas Deloche can't tackle. It's fucking crazy. He can't guard a man. He can't tackle. What the fuck are we doing? We cannot fucking wrap up. How are you a defensive coordinator and you can't teach people to tackle? He should be fucking fired. He should be incarcerated. He should be shot into the moon. I don't give a fuck. Get him off my fucking team. It's ridiculous.
I love this energy.
Mm-hmm. I just don't think it's the defensive coordinator that teaches basic tackling skills.
Well, and like I said, trust me, there's going to be plenty on film that Corey Batoon is going to be able to address in the off week. But like I said, overall, this defense has been way too good for Corey Batoon to be in any real hot water.
Shane Beamer is such a effing douche. Seriously, this is like his Super Bowl. They're all partying on the field like they won the goddamn FIFA World Cup or something. Look at him, he's so happy. What a fucking douchebag. Like, you're never going to be any better than this. You're a big piece of crap. Nobody likes you. This is hot garbage.
Hot garbage.
Fucking dog shit.
Dog shit.
Fuck you. MIZ. Fuck that guy.
Big Beamer fan.
Jesus Christ. The refs were hot garbage.
Hot garbage.
Yes.
You cannot, through the entire game, call every single call against us.
That guy smacked.
And then all of a sudden, oh, what a game by South Carolina. We had pass interference on the end zone on our first drive. No, we don't call that. We had every single call the entire game go to South Carolina, and then we barely lose. Jesus. We played so much better, and we deserve that win. This is hot garbage, hobo cum, and bullshit all in the same thing.
Hot garbage. Hobo cum.
MIZ. Hopefully we'll win next week.
I mean, the officiating was bad. We've gone over it and over and over, but no, we didn't deserve to win that game. with a minute and a half left, we had to get a stop, and we didn't get the stop. And you can't blame the officials for that. The officials fucking sucked. Yes.
It ultimately comes down to playmaking. Johnny Walker Jr. had a chance to make a play, and he didn't. And it's unfair to call him out because he's been so good, but it's just the truth of the situation. Like, he gets that sack, this game has a completely different complexion. Burks Jr. doesn't get caught looking in the backfield. This game's complexion is completely different. Deloche Jr. Breaks his leg on the way to the stadium and doesn't get to play.
Sure.
We probably win this football game. But, there's any number of ways that things could have changed. And officiating could have been better. But, man, it is what it is. It's a culmination of a lot of shit. And officiating being a part of that. But it's not the whole recipe. We had opportunities to win this game. We should have won this game.
I've made peace with it. I'm looking ahead to the next couple of weeks because it's like, look, you don't win every game. Yeah. Not everybody almost has a loss in their schedule. You just don't win every game. We lost this one. It sucks, but we're a good team, and we can have a good season still.
All right, Jackpot, you got one right. You've been calling a Gamecock win for the last 6 years, and for the first time in 6 years, you finally got one. Congratulations, buddy. Sad story, man. This one doesn't count. Like, this is the worst Missouri team I've seen, and forever. We're the worst. Congratulations on beating our worst team ever. This one doesn't count because you beat our worst team ever.
What up, gang? As a big old Gamecock fan, I'd be remiss if I told you that I can't get on here and crow real big about that win because, I missed the entire last fucking goddamn series. The last fucking touchdown was just some dipshit called into my live stream on YouTube, and he fucked the entire goddamn thing up. It's like I had a perfect wheel spinning, and he stuck a fucking fork in the middle of it, and just fucked the whole damn thing up. Anyway, Brady Toughheart, tough as nails. Luther Burden, tough as nails. Nate Noel, tough as nails. Eli Drinkwitz, a bitch.
Yeah.
Eli Drinkwitz writes checks that his mouth can't cash. And once again, he did that tonight. And we kind of slapped him around a little bit there. After the 1 minute mark, I don't know how it feels to have Rocket Sanders, shove his ding-a-ling down your throat again. After he did it at Mizzou in 2022.
He deserves this,
guys. It is
Happy
what
to
it
hear
is. We barely won this game. We're barely better than you. We are both middling
I
fucking
still don't
teams.
agree with that statement.
Neither one of us are making the playoffs. Neither one of us are going on to do glorious things. Both of us are playing in the Music City Bowl type of games. Really, we should just scissor ourselves and make love. Anyway, man, I appreciate it. MIZZOBU. You know I love y'all. Peace. I'm out.
Yeah, we had to, I knew if Carolina Jackpot had a 7-minute voicemail, I was like, we got to let him play it. We got to let him have his time because they won the game. And congratulations. It hasn't happened a lot recently for South Carolina. And it was a great game. And I'll say this, Colin, in the, 12 years Missouri's been in the SEC, honestly, the Missouri-South Carolina game has been our best games. Those matchups have been really interesting games for a lot of seasons, and so this was no different.
Mostly because our teams are constantly living in some middle of the pack.
Yeah, we were kind of fighting for the same territory.
We're always one team beating the other is usually the difference between being middling and hey, we're
destroying each other's hopes and dreams.
Yeah, exactly. Every year, one or the other is hey, we're pretty good this year. We just got to get past Missouri or got to get past South Carolina.
Yep, and then we fuck it up.
Hey, this is the good doctor calling in from Colorado. Boy, a lot of missed opportunities today and some questionable coaching decisions. I don't understand why you go for two that early and then leave yourself in a 2-score game. And between that and that missed field goal, it changes the complexion of the game, Tell you, I'm not sure we've got to worry about Kirby Moore being the hot candidate for a MAC head coaching job either, especially after that first half. And our inability to cover the deep ball came back to haunt us, just like I've been saying it would. Congrats to Carolina Jackpot. Hope he enjoys that win. Enjoy that while you can. And I'll finish with a little story. I was a grad student at Mizzou in the late 90s and early 2000s, and at one point in a class I taught, I had two of Mizzou's finest. One was a fellow named Rob Dregge, who was a academic All-American tackle for the Tigers, one of the smartest guys I've ever met. The other one was none other than the namesake of the Player of the Week award, one Mr. Kirk Farmer. I can tell you from personal experience that the photographs and memories don't do those golden locks justice. They were real, and they were spectacular. M-I-Z.
Z-O-U.
Seinfeld reference there, yeah. I love it.
Yep, that's great.
Jamerson from Branson. I'm not going to be a loser and say that, we got owed out of the win by the refs. Only losers would say something like that. We can't blame the refs. Only have ourselves to blame. We definitely can't blame the refs. Really sucks losing the Golden Fist Trough. Really wanted to keep that for 6 years in a row or whatever it is now. And yeah, luckily my newborn son should make a full recovery after I accidentally dropped him across the room. Batoon, you owe me an apology.
He's unwell, Brennan. He's not a well person.
Well, guys, Yes League is in bad spirits. I got banned on Twitter because I told a dude called @CockCommander to kill himself. Womp, womp.
I don't know this cock commander, but I agree with the sentiment.
Oh, well. We came back. University of Southern California won, but the other USC won. Womp, womp. Hopefully Fart Guy does something. Here's a fart for free sake on the sushi bar tonight. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so after the game, I asked my dad, who became a Mizzou fan during the Woody Woodenhofer era, if this is what it felt like to be a true Mizzou fan. He said yes, and that I'd get used to it. Well, I'll either get used to it or I'll end up offing myself because of it. Anyway, let's go win out and win a bowl game, get 10 wins. M-I-Z.
And I believe the right term is unaliving yourself.
All right, I settled down a little bit, so here are my thoughts. Number one, Brink's got to have balls on that 3rd and 1 to run the ball. If you don't make it, you still kick the field goal. If you know you're going to kick the field goal on 4th and 1, you might as well run it and try to get the touchdown. Number two, it's pretty cool that 9-3 is a floor for Missouri Tigers. We're going to have a chance to get 10 wins, so I guess that says something for the program. And number 3, Hobo come.
Hobo come.
It's a good sentiment. And I think it's something everybody needs to remember. It's like these guys continue to put this effort on the field. We're going to win a couple more football games, and hopefully this season's going to be, not what we'd hoped, but very, very respectable. And like I said, 10 wins is still in the ballpark. And what Mizzou fan asked at any point during their Mizzou fandom said, if your team can win 10 wins, is that a successful season? Who's going to say no?
Yeah. Well, and also it is also true that Drink calls plays like a pussy.
One more thing. Number 4, the worst part is if we would have won with all the bullshit that happened today, you're probably at minimum number 19, but probably 15 or 16 with that win. I did win $472, taking them with the points, so that is kind of cool. For me personally, doesn't help anyone else out, but just wanted to throw that in there. All right, M-I-Z. Hopefully you come to Florida so I have a place to come watch you guys win a bowl game.
I like the throwing in the I won a bunch of money.
Yeah, a little brag.
I think it's important to encourage our listener base to gamble.
Sure, even if you can't afford it.
What's up, guys? Sorry, a little sick, but obviously saw the game. Y'all know what happened. Can't be too upset. The biggest thing, though, is that Drinkwitz has got to stop talking shit. He's had
good luck.
Really 3 swing games this year at South Carolina, Alabama, and Texas A&M, and he lost all. So he's got to stop talking shit. He's getting paid $9 million a year, and he's lost the big game. That's not acceptable.
You know what, Brennan? Listening to these calls makes me realize that what happened to the guy that was English and said the word cunt a lot?
Haven't heard from English cunt in a long time.
Sad days.
Calling in because my girlfriend says she's tired of me bitching about this game to her. So all I gotta say is the things that have cost us all season have cost us tonight. The fact that we can't complete a drive, we can't finish tackles, breakdowns in the secondary, and finally it caught up to Drink. You saw it in Auburn, Oklahoma, Vandy, Kansas State last year. You can't manage the end of a half, the end of a game, and it cost us. I'm too sad to even give any of the normal Zodcasts Logan.
Yeah. No, it's true. The things that Drinkwitz does inexplicably in game, he's gotten away with for a long time, but this one was too close and it didn't help.
What up, gang? Sunday morning jackpot. Hopefully last night when I called, I didn't say anything offensive. If I did, I apologize. I drank.
I know.
It was an 8-pack of Miller High Life, the tall boys. And then
Yes,
I
sir.
switched to regular Miller Lite for the rest of my live stream. So I was pretty sauced up by the end.
I could tell by the call, yeah.
I mean, look, Mizzou played well yesterday, I thought. I mean, they looked a lot better than what I thought they were going to be. Ultimate troll job there by Coach Drink by not revealing that Brady Cook was going to start. I don't think Carolina was particularly ready for him, but we did what we had to do. Y'all going to have to fix your pass defense. Lenore Stellar shouldn't be throwing for 350 yards on anybody. But we did what we had to do. Rocket Sanders was a grown-ass man there at the end. And, yeah, I mean, we just got a fucking team that's just not going to quit this year. I mean, it feels good to not be a big bucket full of hobo cum. Like we usually are. So, still, I'll be rooting for y'all the rest of the way. M-I-Z-Z-O, me and you.
Yeah, and you know, this is kind of what I expected from Jackpot, is that Happy's team won, but there's nothing really to rub in. I mean, it was a game where both teams walked off that field and respected each other because it was tight, and both teams fucking punched and countered punched all night long. So, yeah, it was great, and appreciate it, Jackpot, and enjoy the win.
Morning, boys. It's Cole from Woodswater, Mizzou, calling. Listen, I don't know what is a bigger kick in the balls, missing a deer on, like, opening weekend. I didn't miss a deer, but if someone were to miss a deer on opening weekend, or the way that game ended, because that was brutal.
It's definitely the game.
That was brutal.
It's definitely the game.
Anyway, playoffs are off the table. Obviously, we kind of figured that out. But Drink can show us fans one thing in these next coming weeks, and that is continue the momentum that the program is on this upward trajectory. You cannot fall to 8-4 or worse. You got to keep it rolling. Otherwise, last year starts to look more and more like a fluke. On Mississippi State, I guess, you can't lose that one. MIZ.
No.
Yeah, you know, Brennan, it's definitely the game. Like, it's more important than your hobby not working out for you. You know, and that's not a knock against deer hunting. It's like it's more important than whether I play golf well this weekend. You know,
Well,
it's way more important.
You can kill a deer with your Chevy Tahoe accidentally. You know what I mean? Like that's what an accomplishment killing a deer is.
Yeah, sure.
So, yeah, no, winning this game was a much more important
deal.
Yeah.
Mark Guy here. So no farts to give out today, but instead I actually wanted to get philosophical for a second. And it makes me think about Schrodinger's cat.
Sure.
Not a cat.
What
I
does
mean
it?
tiger.
I think
the
we're all
cat
thinking about
tiger
Schrodinger's
was in the box and also farting, emitting an observable gas. But that same cat, or tiger, also wasn't in the box, meaning that it wasn't farting. And that's kind of how I felt about this game. I'd argue that this was actually Mizzou's best played game of the entire season, meaning that they were farting, but the final score didn't have gas in it, at least gas that we could observe. Fart guy, ouch.
Colin, I'm sure you and all the listeners know. Fart Guy's making a reference to quantum physics analogy.
Sure, obviously.
Yeah, and Schrodinger's cat. And I'm going to butcher this here. Do you have any idea what this is? Do you know? Are you
Yes,
familiar with
yes,
it?
sir.
Yeah, so it's like if the
cat
cat is alive and dead at the same time, and when you open the box, you're only going to know. Anyway, it's obscure and
it's better to Google it than try to get me or Brennan to explain it.
yeah, that's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. But thank you for our guy. I think it's just that kind of game. This has been the Mazodcast mailbag. All right, let's pivot to the rest of the SEC and see who's still in this thing and who's not. Let's go around the horn with the SEC.
We break our bread at Waffle House, our teams are pretty good. We even play some basketball when Jesus says we should. So pour a little bourbon and repeat right after me. We
Built a church for Saturdays and called it SEC. Jesus loves football.
And Colin, would you fire up the Paul Feinbot?
Yes, I will.
Alabama. Nick Saban.
Thanks for joining us, Paul.
Thank you, Mizzou Cast Podcast.
All right, let's look at the week that was in the SEC. Number 3, Texas went to Arkansas and played a very ugly game, but came away with the win, 20-10 over the Razorbacks, who fall to 5-5 on the season. Texas is 9-1 and is obviously a very good football team, but they didn't look so great against Arkansas, but they still managed to do what was necessary to beat the Hogs, and they're reeling a little bit.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that Texas is this good.
Yeah, it doesn't make me feel very happy. Probably the biggest matchup of the week, Colin, was Tennessee, now 7 in the country, facing Georgia, number 12 in the country.
I would like to be in the stands of this game so I could chant overrated at Tennessee.
Yeah, they were no match for the Bulldogs at home anyway. They scored 17 first-half points, and it was tied at the half, but that was the end of the offense for Tennessee as Georgia shut them out in the second half, pulled away 31-17. Big win for Georgia. It was a real test for Tennessee to see if they were, amongst the elite teams that they always claim that they are, and it turns out they're not.
Shocking news.
Alabama beat Mercer 52-7, moving on.
Oh, that's good. Not everybody beats that disease.
Yeah, that's right, especially late November. Texas A&M, number 15 in the country, beat New Mexico State 38-3, another yawn. Florida hosted number 22 LSU, and this was a bit of a shocker. Florida won this game 27-16 over LSU, who is now 6-4. Boy, how the mighty have fallen. LSU looked pretty good early on.
See that video of Brian Kelly calling his receiver uncoachable?
Yes, I did.
Balling him out. I love those candid moments. Brian Kelly might not be as advertised. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I don't know that LSU loves him. Auburn faced University of Louisiana Monroe. They won 48-14, and then Kentucky beat Murray State 48-6 in a real snoozer week for the SEC. And then, of course, Missouri fell short of their comeback 34-30 against South Carolina. So let's look ahead to Week 13 in college football for the SEC. Number 11, Ole Miss, coming off a bye, will be taking on that Florida team who just beat LSU. Florida will be hosting Ole Miss. They are 9.5-point underdogs to the Rebs currently.
I would expect this to be a bloodbath, honestly. Yeah. I feel like you give Lane Kiffin a week. Florida
coming off a big
win where they punched above their weight. I'd take it. I think they're going to win by more than 9.5 points.
So moving on, Georgia's taking on UMass. Now 2-8 is UMass. So deep in the season, this game, so weird. Georgia's now 8-2, coming off their big win against Tennessee. 43.5-point favorite.
When did UMass become a normal
SEC punching bag?
Yeah, when did that become a thing? I'm used to the Louisiana Monroe fighting doormats, but when did UMass become part of our network?
I don't know. They played half the conference.
I know.
Yeah. Again, another one of these sort of doormat cupcake games. Tennessee, after their loss to Georgia, is hosting UTEP, University of Texas El Paso.
The Fighting Bearcats.
The Fighting Bearcats of El Paso. Tennessee is a 41.5-point favorite. Back into conference play, mercifully. Number 3, Texas will be hosting Kentucky. Again, Texas is 9-1, and Kentucky is having a really bad year. 4-6 currently.
Breaks the heart, doesn't it?
They're 20.5-point underdogs to
I would not take
Texas.
that.
Yeah.
I don't. That 25 is too many points. They could win by 2 touchdowns, easily. That 25 is a gigantic
20
number.
and a half.
Oh, I thought you said 25. Fuck, that's a big number.
Yeah, it's still a big number, so I don't know. South Carolina is hosting Wofford after their big win over Missouri. South Carolina is 7-3.
Brennan, remind me, who is Wofford's mascot?
They are Bearcats.
Okay.
They are, in fact, Bearcats. Yeah, and there's not even a line on this game. It's a ridiculous matchup. Arkansas. What? This should be the meat and potatoes of conference schedule. Arkansas is hosting Louisiana Tech. Arkansas is a 22-point favorite.
And for those of you who don't know, that's a 2-year school where they teach people how to be power linemen. You know what I mean? Like that's you can
electric lineman, not offensive lineman.
No, yeah, exactly. Like you want to be a lineman. Do you want to do like draft
VCR repair?
blueprints? Yeah, like it's a 2-year college. That's
Archery, motorcycle law, pottery, child pottery, knife sharpening, knife throwing, child care, and knife law.
Number 10, Alabama will be at Oklahoma this weekend. Alabama is a 14-point favorite over the Sooners on the road in Norman. I expect that should be an easy trip for the Crimson Tide.
You're right about that.
And then Texas A&M is going to Auburn. Texas A&M is only a 2.5-point favorite on the road
Well,
at
you must
Auburn.
really like that Auburn win, huh?
I don't know what's going on here. I feel like Texas A&M now 8-2, 15 in the country. Auburn is 4-5 and a bad team. And 2.5-point underdogs.
They're
to
just
A&M.
like, hey, if history's any indicator, A&M is going to grease up the fucking their underpants the rest of the season.
That's right, and shit themselves.
Yeah, they're going to shit the bed.
Yeah, that's right. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like if I was going to bet on this, I think I would. I want to take Texas A&M.
Texas A&M,
give me
touchdown win. Yeah,
I'll give up them points. Vandy is heading to Death Valley to play LSU. All right, Colin.
Interesting.
Vanderbilt's
Interesting
6-4, right? And
Sure.
they've got some really impressive wins and some close losses. LSU has had some ugly recent losses, reeling, but still number 22 in the country, 6-4 themselves. What do you think the spread is on this one?
10.
Very close, 9. LSU is a 9-point favorite at home over Vanderbilt. I guess that makes sense, but you know what? Look, if you told me fucking Vandy beat LSU this year,
yeah, they can beat Alabama, Auburn, and LSU all in the same season. That would be great. I'm really rooting for that.
That's the kind of year Vandy's not used to. So anyway, and then the final game on the docket is our Missouri Tigers, number 23 in the country, head on the road to play Mississippi State, who is 2-8 on the year, 0-6 currently in conference. Missouri is an 8-point favorite as it sits today.
Yeah, I like that. I hate to say this, but it's hard for me to imagine a scenario where Mizzou just runs away with it, just because they have not shown that.
Yeah,
they certainly have the players to do it. Cook being healthy makes you optimistic, or healthy-ish,
right?
Healthy enough to play, but so I don't think 8 kind of makes sense. I would probably say 10, but yeah,
I think Missouri's the caliber of players on Missouri's roster this year is going to carry them through against Mississippi State. They're just a better football team. So anyway, looking forward to racking up that 8th win en route to a 9-win regular season and then winning the bowl game and whatever that bowl might be, going 10 wins on the year and saying, hey, pretty fucking good year. But it starts in Starkville. This has been Around the Horn. So, Colin,
the Truvada for Prep Bowl. I hope we make that one.
Yeah, that's right. The Idaho Potato Bowl. We have a couple of awards to give out, and the first one is named after TJ Moe, who is a giant douchebag, as we all know, and used to be a slot receiver for the Missouri Tigers. It's time for the TJ Moe Douche of the Week.
Douche of the Week.
Who you got?
Well, I mean, this is the time where I think you'd bring up the officials and be like, man, that's pretty douchey officiating. But I don't know. Do you have somebody else? I mean, truthfully, other than the Mizzou game, as unplugged to college football as I have been all year, just life got in the way this weekend. And so, anybody to recommend?
Well, you mentioned Brian Kelly going off on one of his players, calling him.
I don't know if that's necessarily douchey. That kid may need it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't know enough about that situation to say.
Yeah.
I do think Brian Kelly's a tremendous douche.
Oh, I'm always looking for an opportunity to call him a douche.
Just a fucking giant carpetbagger who's come down to the South and is being exposed as not what he was billed as. Brendan and Lou of not really having anybody spring to mind. Let's just say SEC officiating.
Douches of the week?
Yeah.
I'm happy with that. They deserve it at some point.
Yeah, well, and I think we discussed it. I've got a plan where you just take garden loppers and whack off a finger every time they blow a call, and I feel like that's going to solve a lot of this.
Mm-hmm. Sure, let's implement Colin's garden loppers plan. Till then, SEC officials, you're the douches of the week.
There's got to be stakes, Brennan. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
When you have a job, you got to, doing a bad job has to have repercussions, right?
Literal skin in the game.
Yeah, like you think they're going to miss a lot of calls. You think they're going to make sure they get it right in replay when they know it's going to cost them a thumb.
Yeah, they're going to pay attention to the footage.
I mean, that opposable digit is pretty much what sets us apart. You know, you're gonna lose it for making a bad call in a football game? I don't think so.
Sure. Let's look ahead to the player who most exemplified beauty in the form of one former quarterback, Kirk Farmer's hair. It's time for the Kirk Farmer's hair player of the game.
Now it's time for Kirk Farmer's hair player of the game.
Tough call. Who you got?
You know, it's either boy, a lot of good performers here. Mr. Brady Toughheart had a pretty good game. You know, he's playing hurt. You know, Nate Noel coming back from injury really just seemed to give South Carolina all kinds of fits. Theo Weiss had a great game. I just want to give it to Burden for that fucking catch. And I think there would be a question that he gets the award for that catch if we had won that game, because it's a fucking one-headed catch to win the game.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that fairy tale didn't get written.
No, you're right. And I think that had that held up, that's what you do. You just say, Burden, you won this fuck. You grabbed it by the fucking short and curlies and you won the game for us. But it didn't happen, and so I think you got to look at the holistic approach. And Nate Noel, Colin, had 27 carries for 150 yards and a touchdown.
You're right.
I mean...
No, you're right.
The other three backs who carried it, including Brady Cook, combined for 10 carries. And
I'm taking him for granted. He does deserve it.
Holy shit. And he just, anytime we gave him the ball, he was fucking barreling it down the field. We should have given it to him more. 27 wasn't enough. In my mind, Nate Noel is far and away the Kirk Farmer's hair player of the game.
I second the motion.
All right, we got Mississippi State coming up, Colin. It is a winnable game. It's, I guess you could say it's a trap game. I don't know. I feel like this is not a team in Missouri that can take anybody for granted. It's a trap. We got to get a little bit healthier week after week. I was encouraged by
our game because I think that's giving Arkansas too much respect. Honestly, like I just feel like Missouri is probably looking at this like, hey, there's two very beatable teams on our schedule. Not like, oh, we better worry about Arkansas. You know, like where they're like, no, we just have two beatable teams. Because Arkansas is not good enough for Mizzou. Mississippi State is no trap with Arkansas on the back end of your schedule.
But as long as we perform as we know this team is capable of, we're going to come up with the win this weekend. Yeah. And then Arkansas is where we finish things off.
This would be as disappointing a loss as I could imagine in this season.
For sure.
Because this is a bad football team.
And we haven't been favored much this year.
We're not been playing... I mean, it's the equivalent of one of these teams playing, the University of Lynn State Technical College this weekend, as they are.
Knife sharpening.
We're playing a rum-dum, and maybe an SEC rum-dum, but it is a rum-dum, and you need to treat that you need to beat them accordingly.
Knife throwing.
And the weird thing I would say is the last two games, if you eradicated the first three quarters and you just looked at the fourth quarter of those last two games, you could say we're playing our best football of the year. I mean, because the fourth quarter of the Oklahoma game, and up until the defensive lapse at the end, but the fourth quarter of the South Carolina game, offensively, has been the most exciting football Missouri's produced. So, anyway, hopefully we build on that.
I think the Nate Noel really being the line and Nate Noel establishing the run against what was a pretty good defensive line for South Carolina gives me hope that a team like Mississippi State, if we want to just say, let's throw Noel at them, 25 times and just beat them to death with them, and with the rest of the running back core, we could run it up and down the field, I feel like, on Mississippi State. Just if that's what we want to do, that option is available.
And knife law.
All right, well, we'll bring it to you after it's all said and done next week. Until then, M-I-Z.
Z-O-U. Ifs and buts, candy and nuts.
So he's just terrible, isn't he?
Not good.
I hate him.
I don't like him.
I hope he dies.